Suprabhat. 40 years ago, Air India Flight 182, a Boeing 747 nicknamed Emperor Kanishka, disintegrated over the Atlantic Ocean as a result of an explosion from a bomb planted by terrorists. The incident happened en route from Montreal to London at an altitude of 31,000 feet. The remnants of the aircraft fell into the sea approximately 190 kilometers off the coast of Ireland, killing all 329 people on board, including 268 Canadians, 27 British, 22 Indians, and 12 unidentified others. The bombing of Air India Flight 182 is the worst terrorist attack in Canadian history and was the world's deadliest act of aviation terrorism until the September 11th attacks in 2001. It remains the deadliest aviation incident in the history of Air India. The masterminds behind the bombing are believed to be Inderjeet Singh Riyat, a dual British-Canadian national who pleaded guilty in 2003, and Talwinder Singh Parmar, separatist leader who was one of the key individuals associated with the terrorist group Babar Khalsa. 5 nation-states, governments, and citizens were involved in the plan's implementation, which had transnational repercussions. The bombing was suspected to have been carried out by the Khalistani separatist group Babar Khalsa, although this was not confirmed, although a handful of people were arrested and tried for the Air India bombing. The only person convicted was Inderjeet Singh Riyat, who pleaded guilty in 2003 to manslaughter. He was sentenced to 15 years in prison for assembling the bombs that exploded on board Air India Flight 182 and at Narita Airport. The subsequent investigation and prosecution lasted almost 20 years. This was the most expensive trial in Canadian history, costing nearly 130 million Canadian dollars. Both defendants, Ajab Singh Bagri and Ripunda Singh Malik, were acquitted. In 2006, former Supreme Court Justice John C. Major was appointed by the Governor General and Council to lead an investigation commission. His report, which was finished and made public on June 17, 2010, concluded that the terrorist attack was made possible by cascading a series of errors committed by the Canadian Security Intelligence Service, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, and the Government of Canada. And here's one thing that you may or may not know about the flight. The plane was an hour and 40 minutes late because a fifth pod, a spare engine, was installed under the aircraft below the left wing to be flown to India for repairs. The rear cargo compartment had to be used to store some of the parts. After one of Air Canada's Boeing 747s experienced an engine failure en route to India, the fifth pod engine, a serviceable spare, was leased to the airline. After a post-lease inspection, Air Canada staff determined that the engine was serviceable. On the same day, before the bombing, an attempted terrorist bombing of Air India Flight 301 took place at Narita International Airport in the Greater Tokyo area, Narita, Chiba, Japan. 2 Japanese baggage handlers were killed and 4 others were injured when a bomb concealed in a suitcase traveling through Narita International Airport, then known as New Tokyo International Airport, exploded in a baggage handling room at 6:19. While the plane was still grounded, the bomb detonated too soon. The attack at Narita was part of an attempted double bombing. The suitcase bomb was traveling through the airport for Air India Flight 301 to Bangkok, Thailand, before continuing to Delhi, India. It had originated from Vancouver, Canada via Canadian Pacific Air Flight 003. The initial plan was for the Air India Flight 301 bomb to explode at the same time as the one that had been planted aboard Air India Flight 182. But because the plan had overlooked the fact that Japan did not observe daylight saving time, the bomb on Flight 182 detonated over the Atlantic Ocean off the southwest tip of the Irish coast, just 1 hour after the bomb of Flight 301. Because of this, the bomb at Narita Airport detonated earlier than the perpetrators had intended, while 301 was still grounded. The bomb would have detonated inside Air India Flight 301 rather than at the airport if the plan had been successful. After a thorough investigation by Japanese investigators using serial numbers, the pieces were reduced to fewer than 2,000 potential electronic tuners of an older model that were shipped to Vancouver, Canada. This allowed Canadian police to identify a single individual who had recently purchased the older model. Investigators investigating the bombing of Air India Flight 182 discovered that the man checked in his bags without actually getting on board. A Canadian court found Inderjeet Singh Riyat guilty. He was found guilty in 1991 of the Narita bombing. He struck a plea deal on lower charges and a pledge to testify against other suspects in 2003, just before the Air India trial began. He made the bombs used in both attacks. Those who were Canadian, Indian, British, and Japanese, let us never forget this unforgivable act of mass murder. We will never forget the 329 men, women, and children on that plane who were murdered on that fateful day, as well as the 2 Japanese baggage handlers at Narita. That's all I have for this morning. If you like what you hear, leave a comment down below and subscribe. It's hard to believe it's been 40 years. This is Stephen Luke, and I'll see you next time for another history update. Ella Vida.